Welcome to the 8-Bit Couch, the place to talk about all things geek, nerd, and scary. My name is Chris, and today's episode we talk about the lore of the devil. This subject has shaken humanity since its inception. Most likely, I mean, probably worse than just shaken. Since almost all cultures and civilizations have had a version of the Christian Catholic devil, right? They've had a version that has been a hero, that has been a god, and of course, a evil figure. But just like the Greek had Hades, right, or Pan, the Norse had hell, right? And the Japanese had the Shinigami. The devil has been related to not just an evil figure, but also the image of death, right? And that's because evil and death kind of go side by side with each other. Evil to me has always meant death. I personally have always been afraid of death because it's unknowing. But then again, that's very human, right? Humanity is afraid of what it doesn't know. So that is one thing that I can relate to the devil. You don't know if he exists. You don't know what it is, right? You know if it's he. You don't know if it's a she. You don't know what it is, right? All we know about the devil is what cultures and society has taught us, right? And right now, mainstream society has taught us that it's this red horned uh, demon like creature that fucking pretty much fights for our souls every day. But the devil means different things to everyone. But tonight I'm joined by different guests to the couch. I have Nora, I have Fabio, that tell us their views on the devil, right, and what it means to them. So before I continue, I just want to remind everyone, please give us a quick check out through social media. If you can, just go through Instagram or Twitter. Make sure you search the 8-Bit Couch so you stay on top of our episodes and know what's going to be coming out. I also would appreciate any feedback and any topics you'd like us to go ahead and tackle. But anyways, without further ado, here is the 8-Bit Couch. Tonight I have Nora, a friend of the couch, and we're here to discuss the lore of the devil. And one of the first things I went ahead and asked Nora was, right, Nora, do you believe in the devil? And why, right?
I do. I have since I can recollect. I think I was 15 years old when I became aware of the presence of the devil
Whoa, how did you become aware of the presence of?
because I became aware of the presence of God.
Okay, okay.
So there's many things that have happened in my life. My evolution of the understanding of the scripture, of the Bible,
Okay.
of every other written work around it. I think when you first start out and you're 15 years old, you're like so naive and innocent about it
Mm-hmm.
that um you don't want to you don't want to see something more complicated. You don't want to like dissect and thrive into these different paths. So um in the beginning it was all about the Bible.
Yeah, I remember
And
Christian Girl.
through my super, yeah, no, for sure. Through my super intense like study of the Bible, I discovered that there is a God and that I am very in all of the manifestations of myself that I have found in life. I have found that the one thing I cannot deny is that there is a God and I believe in him wholeheartedly. I'm not his best child. I do not follow his law. I don't do
Oh,
any of
girl,
that.
don't worry. None of us are.
So this is what I've learned. A couple of years ago, maybe a year or so ago, that my own personal tragedy had finally led me back. So I strayed from the path, quote unquote.
Mm.
And a couple maybe a year or so ago, I'm restarting my life. I'm trying to get everything back together. And it's hard. It takes a few more steps than you think it's going to. And I found myself not doubting God, but just not doubting his existence, but doubting his desire to help me. And that was a big choice to make in life, like to go from understanding that there is a God. In my mind, there is an absolute concrete answer. It is as true as the fact that my hair is naturally brown, my eyes are naturally brown, and that I have a niece and 2 nephews and 2 brothers and 2 sisters. Like, that's how truthful it is. So imagine knowing something with absolute certainty. Like, you know something is not a lie, it's not untrue. You know something like my favorite food is peanut butter.
Dude, me too. How awesome is peanut butter?
Right, peanut butter is the best. You know this with a certainty. It won't change. You just know it's true. That's how I felt about that. And but things happen that hurt you or change you, and you just keep trying to reach to this source that you can't reach for whatever reason. It's not going your way. When I started doing this thing every night where I was like just talking into this absence of the night, and one night it just turned into, hey, you, who I know exists, who I know is lurking,
wow.
who I know is waiting.
Oh, wow.
And I'll take you back to a moment when I was 22 years old. I went with my friends. This was after I decided not to be a Christian anymore. And I went to my friends to this restaurant, like simple, like easy. We went to an Applebee's. We went to go have dinner. Like, we were going to go have dinner, and then we were going to go get drunk at this bar, right? So we went
Applebee's does have really good drink specials, by the way.
They do. But we went to this Applebee's, and it was just right after I decided that I couldn't be a Christian anymore, and like I couldn't keep doing this lifestyle. And we were going to go to a bar afterwards, and we did. We went to a bar afterwards. We always did. But we were sitting in this bar, and this man comes up to us, and he introduces himself, and he just told him, he like looked right at me, and he said that he was a servant of the Lord, and that the Lord was crying for someone that night.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
No, I know. He was a servant of the Lord, and he was.
I'd be like, hold on, dude. I need 2 more shots before you can get.
I know, right? We hadn't even like gotten our.
Oh my God!
And he didn't even look at me yet. Like he was sort of looking at me, but not really. And he was like, "The Lord is crying for somebody tonight." And I told the Lord, when I saw you, I felt it was you. But I told the Lord, you know what? If it's this girl that you want me to pray for, have her sit in this exact spot. And he said that I sat in that spot. I know.
Oh my God.
And so he prayed over us, and he said, you know, this isn't going to change anything because the Lord already told me that you're going to live a very long life not doing his work.
What?
But the Lord already knows that you love him. And that's where it ended. Like he prayed for me, whatever.
Wow.
So fast forward back to this moment after everything that happened last year, and I was just, I've never doubted the Lord. I've never doubted God's presence. Like, it's just once the moment that I discovered it, like I soaked it up like a sponge. So I'm sitting at home every night, like kind of just trying to figure out what I'm doing now. I'm in a new apartment, I'm in a new space, and one day I just decided I'm gonna start talking to this guy.
Oh my God.
This abstract idea. And I every night I would say, I don't care who you are. Listen to me. And I would say, everything that you want me to do, I'll do it, but just give me what I want.
Whoa.
And I started invoking the devil like crazy. And I couldn't believe myself for it because I knew and I know there is a God. Like, I know it with conviction.
Where there's good, there's definitely evil.
I think I could slip my wrist in this moment on the bet that there is a God. That, you know, that's how much conviction I have in it. So for me to invoke the devil, whether or not it's real to other people, the idea of me like feeling that it's real and doing it is intense. And I did it every night for several months. And I just did everything I could to make it like a ritualistic thing. And then one night I was falling asleep. And as I was falling asleep, I was just saying the same things over and over again. Like, there's this moment where I think I was like dead asleep and I was just whispering out of like kind of like a habit, like kind of like a involuntary twitch.
Right.
Like, you know. And then I heard it.
Oh shit.
I heard my name.
Oh my god.
I just heard Nora. And it was dark and low and loud. And it woke me. And it terrified me.
I bet. Did you see anything?
No. But it said my name.
That's enough.
It just was like Nora, and it was like so. It was dark and low and deep, and it was him, and he just said Nora, and it was that moment, you know, where you're falling asleep, or like right before sleep takes over.
Yeah.
And it shook me.
Oh shit! I mean, any dark.
I mean, I could have just had like some crazy nightmare.
Maybe, but still.
It's not. That's not what it was.
Wow.
And you know what I did with it? I shot myself. I was like, fuck this shit.
Oh my god.
Fuck invoking the devil.
Oh
No,
my God.
I literally went to the restroom and like washed my face and went back to my room and like got back into bed and I was like, fuck this.
Girl.
Fuck this. Like, I just got on my knees and started trying to get the Holy Spirit moving again in my room. It was the scariest experience of my life.
Oh,
who
my
hears
God.
that? Like, it was.
No, dude, it is terrifying. Definitely. I hear you. I mean, I have a history of like, since I can remember, always having dreams where I fight him. You know, I always beat him and I'm able to wake myself up, you know, and get myself through it. But it's terrifying going every single time through that experience, hearing, of course, that dark, horrible, like penetrating voice,
He said,
the eyes.
Nora.
Oh
and
my God.
It woke me because I was already asleep.
Girl.
When I was 16, I had this one recurring dream where I was like, there was this, in my childhood home, there was a swimming pool in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
And my first memory of it was that they finished it and they were like filling it overnight. And my like family, my father, like we all went down to the pool and we started swimming in it, even though it was like halfway full. We were just so excited about it. It was a great memory. But when I was a young teenager, my memory was when I started coming to the Lord and blah, 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 was us swimming in the same pool. And it was always me and somebody was holding me like a baby. Not like a bride, like a baby, like holding, like cradling me. And sometimes I would start drowning, but always this person would just kind of hold me. And there was like this, like in Hercules, you know.
I love Hercules.
Yes, by the way. And you know how like the souls are like swimming in a circle?
Yeah.
That's what it was. They were like swimming around me.
Creepy.
And this thing was holding me in the water like a baby.
Oh my God.
And that's how I kind of pushed forward as a Christian. Like,
gotcha.
And then suddenly one day I'm like laying in my bed and I've been trying to invoke the devil because I'm so upset about how my life has gone. And then I hear my name and I'm just like,
psych! Never mind, just kidding. Oh,
there's no doubt in my mind that there is a God.
Definitely.
I just think
where there's good, there's evil. And you gotta be careful with that.
Sometimes, regardless. Because I've been through some pretty shit. I've been through some like shady ass fucking bullshit. I think we're never prepared for the evil side of ourselves.
You know, that brings me to a question is, you know, how do you think, I know you didn't see him and you heard him and that's just plenty, but according to you, how do you think the devil looks like?
Me.
Yeah. Like you? Whoa, that's deep. Whoo, wow.
No, everyone. It looks like you. We are.
Wow.
What's
Wow.
what do you trust the most?
Yourself.
I think we don't expect that we're going to betray ourselves because we're always looking out for our own good. The devil is me. And that's why
Wow. You know,
he's me. I am him.
Fabio said that it would be someone beautiful, right? That would make them fall, right? But you're right. Who can make you fall but your own self?
I think the devil is, he looks just like me. And maybe one day I could meet him in one of his many manifestations and
Right.
do something that, like, how do you know you're not going to follow some person who is everything that you need them to be? But the devil, first
Damn.
thing he's going to do is he's going to reach you.
Damn, that just blew my mind though.
He looks like me.
Wow.
That's not always what he's going to look like.
Probably not.
He'll transition. He'll change into other things that I need him to be in life. But the devil, the first time, he'll look like you. He will. Damn. And that's a scary part, though. How do you know what you're saying is not what the devil wants you to say?
That's true. That's true. Now, I mean, but now we're talking about, and that is just the devil as we know it as a Christian and a Catholic, right? Right? This evil entity who is out to get our souls and who wants us to do evil, right? But I mean, who's to say that maybe there really isn't the devil, but in reality, it's just the evil side of us. And that's even fucking scarier.
That's scarier.
You know? Because, I mean, history has shown us different versions of the devil, right? And we were talking about this earlier. Different cultures see the devil in different forms. There's so much lore of how the devil has looked. But in reality, for all we know, it was ways for people back then to describe and write
even mental
the dark
illness.
side of us, even mental illness.
How do we know it's the devil? I think that is like a far-fetched idea.
I mean, for all we know, there is no spiritual anything, and it's just like our bodies, this horrible chemistry set of a body that we have.
You know, it's not about when we know. I think that when you know, you know. The problem is that not everybody else can experience it with you.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, you're alone on that.
You might run into the devil tomorrow, and you might know because your constitution, your physical being, your like emotional, spiritual being knows this is the devil. But the rest of the world isn't in tune with yourself.
Right.
So the problem isn't whether or not we'll recognize the devil. I think if you see the devil, and it has to be you when you see the devil. I think when you see the devil, you're going to know this is a devil. The problem is nobody else will know.
No, because it's your own. Yeah, it's your own internal devil. So that there's that saying, right? Your own inner devil, inner demons, right?
Exactly. And I don't know, Chris. If you told me a week from now that the devil was haunting you, I would think it was in your mind. You would know for a fact in your own fucking being that it was you, that he's in you, that he's there. It's the devil. There's no way to turn it around. And that's a devil. That is the devil's power. We only recognize him when he's in ourselves. We can't recognize him in other people.
No. It's definitely something that we have to fight for ourselves. And I guess that's the scarier part, is that it's not something that we can ask anybody, or you can call a priest and maybe it'll get approved by the church and maybe they'll go and they'll do an exorcism, but it's still something that you have to fight for yourself.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
My God, you just blew my mind though.
No, it's
with
simple.
like how the devil would look.
It's like
That looks
simple
more
enough.
terrifying.
Chris,
Oh my
what
God.
else could be more terrifying than looking in the mirror one day and knowing? And here's the scary part. I think people have the devil in themselves, and then you look in the mirror one day, and this is legit what I'm scared of. One day I'm gonna look in the mirror thinking that I am right as rain, and then I'm gonna see him.
Jesus.
I don't think that something as strong as a devil could hide even from yourself. Like, you're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and not think I am right because the devil is tricking me. You're gonna look at yourself in the mirror and see him and know that you can't stop.
Ugh.
It is
Oh
a
my
scary
God.
and terrifying thing.
Oh, it's
but
scary. It makes me think of did you ever see that movie it's like where all these people are stuck in an elevator.
yes.
Oh my God. That movie terrifies me, especially when at the very end when the old lady gets up and has like all those full black eyes and just stares into that guy's soul. Because I've had like visions or like dreams of
What's like the
that.
scariest movie moment that you've ever had? Like, just
That.
go back and use that, like, in
That, because the first time I saw that movie and that old lady had those full pitch black eyes and it just stared at him, I gotta give kudos to the actors because it looked like it was like penetrating through his soul with like those dark black eyes.
So the scariest movie moment that I've ever had is such a corny, like you would say, like the cheesiest Halloween moment, right?
What is it?
And it was when I was watching Evil Dead the first time, like the
I love the
original.
Evil Dead.
The original.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have the
So
Evil
there's
Dead
like this
and the new one.
moment where, like, Ash has his sister like in the
Mhm.
basement because she's like
Yeah.
all possessed.
Right,
weird.
right.
And she like creeps, and I'm like sitting by myself in Mexico, right? Like maybe circa 2011. And I'm sitting by myself in Mexico. I don't know why my girlfriend wasn't there. Like, I was sitting by myself. I was
Mhm.
watching this B like horror movie from the 80s, and Ash from the Evil Dead has his like sister locked up in the basement of the home for whatever reason. That's like the perfect thing to do, right? Instead of calling 911.
Right.
And they're all watching her, and her fingers come up from like the door to the basement.
Right,
And,
I
like,
remember.
her fingers are kind of moving around. And that was like the creepiest moment of my life. Like, her, like, I'm not fucking joking, Chris. Her fingers creeping up from that door, like trying to get up into the, like, was the creepiest moment of my life. And I think what it really was, it was just that it was somebody that the protagonist really loved,
Mm-hmm.
that you knew was not going to make it to the end of the movie. Which usually in any horror movie, you pick out the protagonist and you
Right.
know that there's going to be at least one person they love that's going to make it.
Right.
And this is their most important person. This is their sister.
Right.
They can have like a wife, like a husband, a lover, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, like, but a sibling. That's like a blood tie. That's like
Right.
an important person of another level. So her fingers creep up under the door. And you can just see them like kind of moving around, like possessed and creepy as fuck.
Ugh.
And it just was like oh my God. I was just, this movie, to my mind, it was like, this movie is beyond ridiculous. It's not even scary. Like, it's just dumb.
But that one part
But
just
that one
freaking
moment of
terrified
the
you.
fingers like moving underneath the door. Me understanding like the implications of this guy's sister is possessed and not going to make it to the end of the movie, like, was intense. And I think it changed my perspective on horror movies a lot. Like, I think it really got me to like get that grip on the psychological terror of a horror movie. It was so...
And now you like scary movies.
Dude, I love being scared. I love to be scared.
It is definitely a fun feeling.
It is the best.
Well, Nora, you definitely blew my mind. My mind is still blown about the devil, being oneself, because
What's scarier than yourself?
oh man,
Can you
that's
think of
true.
another thing that's
No,
scarier?
that's true, because I mean nobody knows me better, my darkest secrets better than me. And that's what the devil has been seen, right? In the past we've seen movies, documentaries about like exorcisms and the devil using, your most inner dark secrets against you, right? And haunts you for it. So it makes sense that you yourself would be the devil.
The devil's only gonna look at you.
Ooh. Ugh.
You know what though? Realistically speaking, I think our own ego doesn't let us look beyond ourselves too. The most attractive thing we can see is what we naturally are.
Right.
And I think that's what it is. If the devil's gonna look like anything, he's gonna look like me. He's gonna look like you. And he's gonna look like you because whatever naturally occurs to you
Mhm.
is gonna be the most fucking attractive thing in the world. Something you don't have to work for. Something that just is.
Ugh.
It's insane, right?
Oh my
It's
god,
insane.
you just blew my mind. So
But take
terrified
it,
about
take
that.
it. No, I think it's a real thing to think about. Like, even if the devil, which I absolutely doubt, I think the devil is real. But even if the devil was not real, I think the devil within ourselves is always us at our best.
I feel like maybe the devil, if it doesn't exist like in a spiritual level, but it's just us, I think that's even more scarier or worse than the
think about it.
actual
The devil
paranormal
is
version of the
you
devil.
at your most charismatic, at your best.
That's true.
Because the devil is not going to settle for less.
That's true. Nora, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. Wow, you blew my mind. I'm terrified. Thank you so much. I don't know how I'm going to sleep from here on out.
Anytime, baby. Anytime.
By the way, for our listeners, though, in case you want to, would you like to tell us where we can stalk you and follow you on social media?
Huh?
Do you have any social media where would you like some of our followers to follow you on?
But I don't post things on social media. So,
what's your Instagram?
I don't have Instagram anymore.
Yeah.
I deleted it
Oh my
permanently.
god.
I actually permanently deleted it.
Oh, that's okay.
But if you do want to follow me, I'm on Facebook.
Okay. So we just look for Nora
Encalada.
Encalada.
Encalada. Enchilada, but not.
So think about enchilada, guys, but not really. Just Encalada. I'll post it on our social media.
I don't really.
So that you can get some fans to bother you. But thank you so much, Nora. I appreciate it. Thank you for being part of the couch.
Well, there you have it. That was Nora. Nora is a long-time friend, all the way back from high school. Yes, I'm old. I get it. But we're gonna take a quick break. But before I leave, since we're on the topic of the paranormal and lore, the girls from W Files podcast have also some great content you should check out. Please take a quick listen. Here is the W Files podcast.
How do you feel about witches? How about aliens? Or maybe some messed up government experiments?
If you have a fascination with the weird, wild, wacky, or just downright what the keep things that go on in this world of ours, then you've come to the right place.
Join us on Tuesdays when we discuss all of this and more on the W Files podcast.
To listen and find out more, you can pop on over to our website at wfilespodcast.com.
Adieu, W Crew!
That was the W Files podcast, ladies, and these ladies are so interesting. They definitely put out amazing content, and one of the episodes that definitely warped my mind was their episode 45 of what really happens in psych wards. And man, the stories that come out in that episode are just wow. I mean, wow. I can't even. No, I'm not even gonna give you spoilers. Check them out. Listen to them. And when you get to episode 45, tell me what you think. right? Comment on our social media and let me know what you thought of the Psych Word episode 20, episode 45. I'm sorry, of the W Files podcast. But anyways, without further ado, next step, have Fabio from the 8-Bit Couch, our 8-Bit Couch people. And he also has some amazing points and views on the lore of the devil and how he sees the devil himself. There's also some stuff that I never knew about, and I knew Fabio I've known Fabio, it's not new, he's still alive. I've known him for 15 years, and some new material just came out of nowhere, and he's never told this to me before. Maybe he's told this to Ivan or Abar, but I did not know this about Fabio. But anyways, here is Fabio on the topic of the lore of the devil. So let me ask you this, Fabio: do you believe in the devil?
Yes, I do. I do believe in the devil.
And go ahead.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No. Continue.
Oh well, I was just gonna ask, like, okay, well, you believe in the devil, but I mean, why do you believe in the devil? I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Like, I was gonna tell you about that. I was hoping you were gonna give me more. Well, first of all, I guess, raised in a Catholic family. Not guess, but I was raised in a Catholic family, and
Mhm.
you know, when you're raised in a religious family or Catholic, Christian, or something, they make you have a fear against the devil, or be cognizant that there is something evil around us, right?
Mhm.
So in this case, this evil is called the devil, and I my whole life I actually believe in the devil, and I do believe there is something evil that does exist in this world, or a way that I cannot explain. I don't know if that answers your questions, but you know.
No, that's great. That's great. So I mean, pretty much your parents wanted you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
Aside from obviously the
relationship.
evil, yeah, the relationship of good and evil, but aside from the evil that happens in the world, there is something even darker that maybe even moves people to cause that sort of evil across the world. Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. What freaks you out? What? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay, no. I was gonna say something really quick, and I guess I'm gonna. If you wanna also ask me your questions later on, but trying to record this episode, it's been kind of hard though. I don't know why, but it's been difficult to record this specific episode for whatever reason.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I don't wanna be that person that says it, but maybe the devil is trying not for us to record this episode. Now about the experiences or things that I have happened to me, or the ones that I feel like I should share. So I guess this is gonna be kind of like, in a way, I'm not trying to say you should be religious or anything like that. I'm not trying to tell anyone, oh, you should become Catholic or Christian or whatever. No, I'm not here to say that. But I'm gonna tell you my experiences that I have, and it's kind of interesting for me, and the way I happen things to me.
Okay.
So just real quick, there is other paranormal things that had happened to me, and many people will say, no, I don't believe in those things because nothing has happened to me. But trust me, whenever something bad or something weird happened to you, you don't want that to happen to you again. You're like, oh my God, this is just so weird. But about the devil, just really quick, something that I want to mention is they say that, who says that? Well, it's pretty much priests and religious people say that whenever you're closer to God, it's whenever the devil is trying to get you apart to God. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I'll try to explain it a little bit more. So let's say you're doing evil things. So why the devil will try to get you to do more evil stuff? Because you're already there. Might as well just not gonna use the energy to convince you to do otherwise. So regarding on that topic, the the way that I felt the worst, or whenever I felt like I was going, like this is super weird for me,
Hmm.
it's I so there in Catholic faith there is something called confessions. You go to a priest and you confess your sins. Now, why not? In a way, it's good. You know, people will say, why do I have to confess my sins and whatever? You can do whatever you want, right? But in a way, I feel really good whenever I confess my sins because it's like taking something out of my system and releasing it to someone else. You know, kind of like that deal,
Hmm.
but in a more spiritual way. But so I confessed and I felt great, whatever. And I always wear a rosary, always, always. And I never try to take it out or anything out of my body or like put it off or whatever. So one night I confessed myself and everything, and one night like I'm sleeping and I had like the weirdest dream ever. I was in a forest and there was like a people like in a circle, and they were doing a satanic ritual. And
What?
and I was confessed like really I was you know pretty much out of confession and going like went to sleep and everything. And I approached the people, not the people, but I could see them from far away, and from someone from the back gets me and takes me into the circle, and I wake up like going like, oh my god, what the hell was that? And I turn on the lights and everything, and I was just how can I explain it? Like I was really afraid,
Jeez. Yeah, that gave
and
me chills right now.
and wait, and I touched my chest where the rosary is at, and I
Yeah.
wasn't wearing it. And I'm like,
Oh,
what
wow.
the heck? Where's my rosary at? And I couldn't feel it. I like, so I started looking at the bed where the rosary was at, and the rosary was around my feet, like up.
Oh my
I'm
god.
like, oh my god! And I just got it. I
Wow.
was like, yeah. So uh, I put it on again, and I'm just praying and going like, oh my god, this is super weird. And I was freaking out. I honestly that night I couldn't sleep,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
still have that feeling still. Like the what happened to me, I still remember. But that's not the only thing. It happened again, Chris, and that's the thing. And that's what I hope people, if someone hears this, I'm not trying to tell you I'll become religious or anything like that. No, I'm just training you to try to live a life where you're good, because overall your good deeds is gonna it's gonna be what it's gonna reflect.
Hmm.
If God exists, of course, it's what's gonna make you or break you in a way. So just let me finish it again with the other story that I have. So again, so time passes. Of course, people are people, and you seen and stuff. So I went to confession again, and I went to sleep again, and again I had a dream about the devil.
Right.
I remember the second one very well, honestly, but I remember that I had a dream about the devil again, and my rosary was off my body again.
Wow.
And I'm going like, shit, this is super weird. Like, what's going on? And that's why I meant that once you're closer to God, that's why it says that, or they say that the devil is gonna try to approach you and take you away. Right now, I have not gone to confession since forever, and so in a way, I guess that's why it's not approaching me again, or I don't know. But I do believe in the devil. I do believe there is something evil, like trying to take us away from, the supreme being, whatever you want to call it. And
Mhm.
in my case, it's God. So yeah. To answer your question, I do believe in the devil. Those are
Oh my
extremes that
god.
that has happened to me, and I don't know. Like, of course, there's other people that might say, well, maybe it's psychology or whatever, but people are able because the way they live their lives, which is true. But aside from that, I think there is something darker in the world.
Right. No, and I agree with you. Definitely, I believe you. I have had very vivid dark dreams similar to yours, so I can definitely relate on that matter. But it's funny that you so
and you've probably seen a lot of also research and documentaries regarding exorcisms, right? And
Yes.
before a lot of exorcisms, a lot of people that assist the priests, right? They have to confess because they know that when they're about to go ahead and have this fight, right? This
Hmm.
sort of encounter, they know that the devil is going to use all these sins, all these bad things from this person to kind of use them against you, right? But if you confess yourself and you go in with like a clean, free slate and heart, and into it, like the least weapons you give this entity to use against you. So I found it funny that this happened almost exactly after you had just gone confessed, because that's kind of basically some of the steps that people take. And you're right. You're right. It's also been known that some of the biggest possessions occur to those who are closest to God, right? I
Yeah.
mean, I was watching a documentary not too long ago that said that some of the biggest possessions occur in Vatican City in Italy. You know, um, uh, they say that I'm not going to give you a made up number, but it's a significant amount of exorcisms that occur there. And it kind of makes sense because I mean that's probably the city that's closest, to God. And you're right, the devil is not going to want to taint the tainted. There's no point,
Yeah.
the ultimate goal is to taint those who are still pure, or are
We're
closer to
trying
God.
to be pure, of course, right? We're people, and we're not gonna be like we all make mistakes. So we try our best to be as good as possible. Because there is also something morally that we as humans know what is correct and what is not correct. Uh, if you are religious or not, you can tell this is right from wrong, right? Um, Now, regarding that about the movies and everything, there is a movie that always impacted me the most. I forgot the name of the movie. It's called Exorcism from Emily Brown. I don't remember.
Emily Rose. Yeah, you got it
Emily
right.
Rose.
Emily
There you go.
Rose.
There
Yep.
you go. Emily Rose. And the ending, it's the one that actually made me go like, oh my god, this is super weird.
Yeah.
Where actually she has a vision of the Virgin, I think, or something, and the Virgin says to her, "Do you want me to cleanse you, to like to help you, to you know take away this evil from you?" And she says, "No, I want people to see or learn from me that there is evil in this world." Or something darker, and that part of the movie actually I was like really impressed and really hit me. I'm like, whoa, this I don't know, it got me, I guess,
Right.
chills.
Right.
And
Right.
I guess something funny, I guess, in a way. Maybe I was uh just really quick before recording this episode. We have a conversation last night about with the topic and everything, and before recording the episode last night at 1:30, no, 1:50 ish, I woke up scared about recording the episode.
Oh
I'm
my
going
God.
like, maybe I shouldn't record the episode, and and and, I turned on the lights again and slept with the lights on for whatever reason. But maybe I was just, people will say maybe you were just like, I don't know how to say it, sugestionándote. I don't know how to say that in English.
Right, right,
Um,
right, right. The expecting of what the episode was touching was made you oversensitive on everything else, and kind of similar that similar feeling that we all get when we watch a scary movie. That foreshadowing of what's gonna come. That there's gonna be a ghost around the corner, and that starts freaking you out. So the foreshadowing, right, is what gave you
yeah,
that sense of
that's true.
dread.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was dreaming something, but I don't remember what it was. But I remember that, right, like at 1:30, 1:50 at night, I felt like, I shouldn't be doing this. But I think it's good for people to hear other people's uh,
experiences.
perspective and
Right.
experiences. Exactly.
Right, right, and I appreciate it, man. Thank you. As we know, a lot of people definitely don't feel comfortable about this topic. For example, our friend Ivan, right? He was just like, "Nope, I got nothing to do with this," and it's definitely not something that people can just talk about openly, right? Especially those of us who are, Catholic, and we're mostly raised to be afraid of the devil, right? But again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just we're us talking about the Christian Catholic, devil, right? It's had different names, it's had different forms. There's been cultures that even have seen the forms or versions of the devil as a savior, a hero, right? Some people have seen him as misunderstood, right? Because he was a fallen angel who had his own beliefs and thoughts, and then was completely cast out. I was watching a documentary not too long ago, and it was I believe if I told you about it, was How the Devil Got His Horns, and there's a painting in a chapel somewhere in Europe where it paints the devil being cast out, right? And he looks like a beautiful man, because of course they say Lucifer was this very beautiful, bright angel, right? That sat literally next to God in his court of angels. His court in heaven. And you see him falling, and he just looks so scared. He looks so scared, not knowing. And if you kind of put yourself in his shoes, thinking about it, right, and a human level, right, this is just humanizing the devil. And in no way am I saying that the devil is innocent or anything. We all have our beliefs, definitely. I'm just saying that if you put yourself in his shoes at that moment, being casted down, maybe you're thinking, shit, like I fucked up, I shouldn't have done this. But angels were held at a different standard than humans. Angels made a mistake, and that's it, one and out. That's another reason they say that the devil is jealous of humans, because we can make mistakes continuously all the time, and God forgives us. All we literally have to say at moment of death, which again Catholicism has taught us, is we just have to truthfully repent, and we'll be forgiven, right? But he didn't have that choice. He didn't have the choice. He made a mistake, and he got casted down. Him and many other angels. But I'm just thinking, I was like, man, that must have been terrifying. Just imagine becoming this icon because of a mistake like that, right?
Yeah, the reason he's not able to go back is because he's really prideful. That he's not able to say sorry that he fucked up.
So pride is one of the capital sins, right?
Yeah, and the most important one, actually. Like
why do you think that?
From hierarchy, from sin, like I guess the strongest or like the most ablest is pride. Because if you're prideful, you're not gonna be able to see your mistake. You might be messing it up really, really hard. And because, you are prideful, you'll be like, no, I'm not wrong. The sins I'm committing, they're not wrong, they're right. Because technically you cannot see that you're wrong. And like, for example, whenever people do commit crimes or people that they don't want to repent that they're doing wrong, for example, Hitler, that he was committing all these atrocities, he was excusing himself from doing the atrocities because of pride, because he had a reason, but he was not able to see his wrongdoings. And like, for example, I don't want to bash into the president, but for example, the president that we have right now, I think he's really prideful too. He's not able to see the things the way he's wrong in a way. But if he was more humble, I think he'll be a much better president, because he'll be able to say, you know what, I made these mistakes. Let me backtrack and do this correct. And the same thing with the devil. He's really prideful, and he won't be able to to go back for that reason.
Gotcha, because he just simply won't admit, right, that
Yeah,
he made a mistake or he was wrong.
yeah. And other scenes, for example, Rat. Whenever you're super angry and stuff like that, you can later say, you know what, I fucked up. I missed. I should change the way I am of being so angry all the time and stuff like that. Also with greed and gluttony and all those things. But I guess that's for a different topic.
Right, definitely for a different episode possibly. But so I mean overall, Fabio, what I mean, you already had some really scary experiences out of what it sounds like, and there probably haven't been the only ones. But I
So,
mean, what freaks you out the most about the devil, right? About all of this?
uh, wow, that's a really interesting question. I get losing myself to evil, or not. Me myself as a Catholic, we have the belief that we're gonna get to heaven, and we don't completely know if there is a heaven or not. We have some stories of people that have died and gone to heaven and stuff, and seen some parts of hell. But being living in eternity on hell, that will be, I guess, one of the my worst fears. And losing my soul to the devil, that will be the worst thing ever for me.
Why do you think you would lose yourself to evil?
You know, um,
I
I
mean,
guess
I'm not trying to be too intrusive, but I mean, it's something that I can definitely relate, because evil to me has always felt like a pit, like a dark, dark pit. That's why when people relate hell to fire and all of that, I don't think
that
that's really how hell is. I feel like hell is an absence of light, of everything. Because what would terrify me more over being cooked over like flames would be the absence of everything. Just not being able to see, hear, or witness anything. That to me sounds even more terrifying. So
like, if there is
what
no heaven or hell, pretty much that's what you're saying. Because what
is
if
the
you actually, let's say,
uh-huh.
you can feel, but you feel always despair, agony, anger all the time? Would you like to be living in somewhere like that?
No, definitely not. But if you think about it, that's kind of also all like living in a pit of darkness, right?
Yeah,
Because you will continuously be scared, you will always be in pain, and you will always be haunted because you don't know where you are, what's going on, like you don't know what's happening. So that
Okay,
sounds like real hell to me for sure.
I see your point. No, I understand. I understand.
But
Um,
why are you so afraid of losing yourself to evil per se?
uh, I guess that not being, as you mentioned, not being able to discern from good and bad, not being able to be on the light all the time. Like, I don't know, like what you meant. I guess what you just said. I totally agree with what you said. I guess I couldn't put it in better words. I don't know. I hope that's a good answer. I don't know.
You're good, man. It's a loaded question, right? I
Yeah,
mean, it's hard to
it,
answer.
it's hard
Uh-huh.
to answer because you're born Catholic, not born, but like you're raised Catholic, and they tell you all this stuff, but in reality, we don't know exactly what's after you die. So,
Yeah.
and what you mentioned, not being able to let's say there is nothing after death. I guess that will be something that it's also that makes me afraid. Living your life in a way and dying and there is nothing else. That'll
Hmm.
be sad, but we have that belief and we have that hope that there is something more to life. And I guess to answer your question will be the fear of not having an afterlife. I guess what you mentioned pretty much. There is a nothingness after that.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I was always terrified and I know you should be happy about this, what they teach us, right? But when God, when Jesus Christ comes back, right, and how everybody's gonna be resuscitated and come back and join him in heaven, right? When they say things like that, people are like, "Oh yeah, this is great." But then I'm thinking to myself, like, I think I was like maybe somewhere between 5 and 7. In my tiny mind, I'm thinking, fuck that. That's scary as hell. So what you're telling me is that I'm gonna be on the ground waiting until eternity, forever, to wait until when God finally comes back and then takes me to heaven? So I'm not going to heaven? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Or like, does that only mean that only the people that are alive are then gonna die and then get resuscitated? Like, what does that even mean? That shit
Yeah.
used to terrify me because I'm like, I don't want to be in a tomb forever in darkness in the absence of nothing. That sounds like hell. Why would you put a spirit or an entity through that? I mean, that sounds so harmful, and
Oh
that
yeah,
that
no,
would that terrified me, and that gave me a lot of trauma as a kid. I was afraid of death because of that. Not because the thought of dying scared me, but it was that if I died,
after it, yeah.
that would happen. There would be nothingness. That terrified me.
True, 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 true. We don't know. I guess the answer I'm gonna give you, we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if, whatever religion you are, we don't know what's gonna happen, honestly.
Right.
And
Right,
so,
and at this point we're talking on a different topic, not so much towards
yeah.
the devil, right? More we're talking about at this point of what happens
No,
after life.
but it's good. It's good. It's good because that's a way, because the way you see afterlife, it's a different way, because the way I see devil, it's a way that I see afterlife. In other words, if I die and if I was evil all my life, I'm gonna go to hell, and devil is gonna be there. You know, that's why we're talking about it. So I'm just gonna tell you something super stupid that I did when I was a kid.
What's
Like
up,
the
man?
worst thing ever I did, and I regret it, and I always regret it. I never said it to anyone. I confessed it to a priest, and he said, "Good that you confessed that. Do not ever do that again, ever."
Oh my God, what did you do? I can't even imagine what you could have done.
It was the worst thing I could ever done. So, whoever 6 years is, forgive me. I changed everything. So I was a little stupid kid, right? So I don't know how old I was, and I decided to say, playing in my mind, and say, "Oh, I'm gonna sell my soul to the devil." You know where this is going. I guess
Oh my God.
the worst
Boy.
thing ever, and when I was a kid, you're stupid, you're and I don't know, maybe this all ties up with my the dreams I have or everything. So I was a little kid. I said in my mind, I did say that, and I said, if I go see the movie Space Jam,
Oh
it's not
my
even
God.
worth it. Yeah, I know.
That movie sucked. I mean, looking
You're a
back
kid,
now, it sucked. But when back then, it was awesome. It had Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan in it. Who didn't want to watch that, right?
I know. And that's
Dude,
me.
you sold
I
yourself short. You could at least said, "Hey, I want to be a billionaire," and then you'd be able to go to the movie because you're freaking rich as hell.
you're a little kid. You don't know what you're doing, and but well, I guess they gave you those ideas when you're a kid, and
Hey,
you do that.
I don't want to scare you, right? I just thought of something, and you probably have thought about it before.
What?
But have you ever considered that because you did that when you were a kid, you now have those experiences that
Oh,
you were talking about?
well, let me finish this story, and then I'll come back to that, I guess.
Okay, go for it.
So,
You're
so I
funny.
went to see the movie. That's the worst part. I did go see the movie.
Oh,
And then after I watched the movie, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And I remember how old I was, probably like 6, 7, 8 years old.
Huh?
And I'm like freaking out. I kid you not. I'm like, and I guess that's the way I have again about the fear of hell and devil. So I saw the movie, and then after seeing the movie, I start freaking out, and I don't remember when exactly. I think it was. I don't remember if I think it was on New Year's Eve
Uh-huh.
that I wake up in the middle of the night, and when my sister and I we used to share a bedroom. She
Yeah.
had her own twin bed, and I had my own twin bed, and whatever.
Mhm.
But I couldn't sleep, and I felt really, really, really afraid of the devil.
Yeah.
That he was coming for my soul, like technically, like, and I couldn't sleep at all, and I was freaking out. I was praying, and even though I was praying, and this is when I was a little kid, by the way. And after I done that stupid thing, I'm like, oh my God, what did I do? And I'm saying these things, hopefully, for whoever hears this, they're not that stupid, all right? So, and because hopefully they learn from my mistakes, and hopefully they know there is something evil around that we cannot explain,
Right.
whatever religion you are, right? So I'm freaking out, and I'm going like, oh my God, and I couldn't sleep at all. And my sister was there, like, even though my sister was there, and I still felt afraid. My parents were like next room, like really close to, and I still felt really, really afraid. So I went to my parents' bedroom, and I said, you know what, I can't sleep. I'm afraid of the devil. Just like that to my parents. And my mom was like, okay, so did you pray? I'm like, yeah, I'm praying, and I feel afraid and everything. She said, okay, so grab this rosary and sleep with it. So I got the rosary. I wrapped the rosary around my hand and start praying, and I feel protected. Why? How? No idea, But I felt much, much better. And I was able to sleep. And now coming back to your question, now that you mentioned that, uh, you know, maybe there is some weird connection. I did confess to a priest. He said that my soul is God's, and that's what he said during the confession, and it's God's soul, and that's it. And but do not ever do that again. Now that I have reason, he said that. I'm like, oh, trust me, I'm not gonna do that ever again. So I don't know. Maybe there is a connection between those, the dreams and everything, and the rosary, because the story that I started the conversation with, it's I dream about the devil and the satanic group making a circle, whatever, and I didn't have my rosary with me. So maybe there is a connection. I don't wanna, start debating too much into it, or go too deep into it, because
Right. Because it freaks you out because you're afraid of losing yourself to that evil. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the truth, and so yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you can't. So we've been taught that our souls don't even belong to us, right? Our souls belong to God. We're giving a chance to come into this world and to experience things and live our lives, right? But so you can't. Right. If I was the priest, I probably would have told you the same thing, right? It would have been like, it's not even your soul to give. But when we do say things like that, I feel that instead of giving our soul, which we obviously can, instead you kind of open yourself up.
Yeah. Exactly.
That which
I
is
totally agree.
not as bad as giving away your soul, but it's still pretty bad.
Yeah. No, it is. It is completely bad, and
because you never know what could be listening. Maybe not the devil himself, because I mean, you're talking about an entity, right? Of a great magnitude and significance, according to the Catholic Christian belief, to literally come in for a 5 to 10-year-old kid's soul. You have to be like a very unique being, right? Not saying that you're not, but you could be. But I guess it also, opens it up to what else could have been listening at the time. maybe it wasn't the devil, but there was another type of demonic
Yeah,
presence that could have maybe established that connection with you.
exactly. No, yeah, I totally agree with that. And you know what you mentioned, you open yourself to a possibility of more evil around you, and uh, and that's the bad thing, you know, and not letting yourself go into the presence of darkness, because many people will say, "Hey, yeah, nothing bad exists." Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I like to see some people on YouTube also talk about like scary stuff and stuff like that. But there is stuff that I cannot explain that happens in this world. And later on, you heard my stories before, but I'm not gonna talk about it right now. But I have other stories that I cannot explain, and there is something lurking, but you know, until we die, we'll figure it out what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which by then it's kind of terrifying it makes, I mean, if dying already is definitely something that most of us have difficulty dealing with, I can't imagine, having to fear also where you're gonna go on top of that. That's where I feel like religion has in a way failed us, because it's just completely just demonized, right? Death, you know by
I guess.
creating. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say that religion, in its process of, in a way of telling the people, right, to be good, they created also at the same time anxiety, right, and panic, because you're like, shit, if I don't pray this many times, if I don't go to church every Sunday, if I do something or think anything bad, I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna go to hell. I'm gonna go to hell. That is terrifying, dude. I mean, think about how much anxiety, maybe not me and you, right? But there are people that are very strictly, Catholic, or very strictly Christian, or very strictly whatever belief you are, and your own version of what hell is, and they're continuously just thinking crap, 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 crap. That when they die, they're gonna go to hell if they don't do these things. I mean, talk about psychological manipulation, and like just so much damage that can probably do to the psyche of a person. We're not all built the same. Some of us have a weaker mind. Some of us can handle certain things. Some of us can't. And it's just, it seems a little bit unfair to demonize death like that.
Yeah, no, I guess, because that's a really important thing, I guess, and it could be another topic that we can discuss, but I guess something I could say is, just try to live your life the best way possible without doing evil, and you know what's morally correct and what's not. Now, we
Do
all
good.
commit,
Do good.
yeah, to do good. We all do stupid mistakes, like me. You just heard what I did, and for a stupid movie, it's Space Jam. Come on.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, at least do it for, like, I don't know, a couple of billions of dollars, so that at least you can do some good at the end, if it's gonna cost you your, sanctity or your soul or whatever.
Yeah.
But
But
let me pray a little further. Oh, what's up? What were you gonna say?
no. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I was gonna ask you, how do you think the devil looks like, according to you, right? Not according to Catholicism, because we obviously already know how that looks like. But according to you, how do you think he looks like? Especially you, since these experiences.
Something that I like. Something that it's gonna make me fall in a way that I'm gonna spiral down and down and down, further down and more. Because if it is something that scares me, I'm not gonna be wanting to do it again, or I'm gonna be afraid of it. So instead of doing that, he's gonna approach me in a way that I'm gonna feel like, oh, I like that, kind of a deal. Like, oh, I like this person, or something that or a person that I like, or a person that I think it's good to hear from, or stuff like that. That I'm gonna be able to change my perspective and not being able to think about my like in my own way. In other words, what I'm trying to say is like, and I'm bashing a little bit into Trump, but I'm sorry.
You're fine. Honestly, I would be agreeing with you. I don't want to get political, but yeah.
No, the reason I'm saying this is because the way he says things, like some people will follow completely blindfolded to whatever he says, and without even thinking. So I'm not saying that he's the devil, not, but he might say things that are not in a good way. So in a way, how will he present himself is something that I would like to hear. That is going to emphasize ways that I like to hear things. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
Yeah, no, it definitely makes sense. I mean, that's why there's terms like "you handsome devil," you know.
Exactly, something like that. Yeah, something like that.
So
If I have to I guess answer your question again, a handsome devil. That will be my answer.
makes sense. Makes sense. It makes me think of that. Did you ever see that movie with Brendan Fraser called Bedazzled, when the devil is like this hot chick? I mean, yeah, definitely. If the devil looks like that, of course you're going to be way more tempted to listen. But yeah, I mean that's and in history, right? And we've seen it, right? The devil definitely tempts you with different things. He tempted Jesus, right, in the desert. Tempted him with food, the best kinds of foods, so many riches, and for days, and Jesus had to say no. He will try and tempt you with good things. He's not gonna appear as like a demonic, evil-looking goat, right?
Exactly.
Or a monster. That shit obviously is gonna be like, no, I'm out. Pass, hard pass.
Exactly, totally. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, man. Now,
No, how do you see him?
me? Oh,
yeah,
the same way, dude. To be honest with you, I mean, I see him being definitely something that is gonna be just the same way, something that's gonna be able to manipulate me or make me drop my guard. It could be, a significant other that manipulates you to the point where you abandon your faith. I know that I've had past relationships that have kind of like push me into trying to believe other things or other faiths, right? Because I've dated girls they haven't been Catholic, that either been Christian or Jehovah's Witness, and they tried to impose their beliefs on me, only because in order for me to be with them, I had to believe these things. But I think at those times was probably when the devil probably tried to maybe, tempt me in that sense, or tried to make me fall, or, by trying to separate me from the church,
Well, and also, I guess if you love someone, you're not gonna try to impose into the other,
Right, impose your beliefs on the other person. Exactly.
Yeah. Technically, you're gonna manipulate the other person. Now, if the other person is open, because I guess it should be, you have your religion, I have my own religion, and maybe we can go to each other's religion just to, support each other, because at the end, that's what it is, a relationship also, you're gonna help out each other. But once you try to impose the other, then that's a problem, I think.
Right. And when I was dating, I remember Jeanette, I supported her, but of course it was hard to go to those big mega churches, dude, because like me and you, we grew up going to like really humble small churches in Mexico that like sometimes the communities don't have money, to feed their priest, or to like for the community to feed itself. and they're
Yeah.
still, doing their best to support the church, and it's where you experience the best kinds of communities and mass and gatherings. So when I saw that big super mega church where it looked pretty much like a farm, it was
Yeah.
it was insulting. It hurt me. It hurt me
Oh yeah.
because, you know, and then they put on, when you go there, it's like a show, it's like a rock show pretty much. And they put things that they do, that they supposedly go to third world countries like Mexico, Guatemala, and they go visit all these small villages, and they preach on and they help, and they take advantage of all these people who have no resources and are just hungry to try and preach on their beliefs. And that hurt me to see, especially when they would go visit. They would show videos that they visited places in Mexico. I'm like, God, really? Like, you're gonna use people's hunger to believe in your things, and then you're gonna come over here and then tell all your friends that, like, oh, look at all the things that I did, dude. That's not even being Christian. Like, man, it was painful for me to watch.
Just I think I have really good point right there. Now, just really quick, in Catholics also we have people like that too. I don't want them to believe whoever
Oh
hears this.
yeah, no, for sure.
It's a perfect world. No, it's not. And honestly, there is some people that they're really evil in the Catholic faith, and not only Catholic, also in the Christian and other religions too. And that's what we mean by the handsome devil. They
Right.
approach you in a way when you are like on your weakest, and sometimes people, because they are in despair, they feel prey to them, and they start donating their resources into evil people, and I don't like that. And honestly, there's priests that I don't like, and I always think that they're not supposed to be there. But you know, what can you do?
Right.
Uh,
What can you do? And I agree with you. You're right. And I know I sounded like I was just bashing on
no, but
Jeanette's church,
yeah,
but you're right. And I'll be the first one to say it, right? When we were younger, right, and we were part of the Newman's group, right, and we were close to the St. John brothers, when we were in our early years, right, in college. One of the reasons I ended up separating myself was because, to me, it just started feeling more like a social thing rather than more on the religious aspect. It became more of like, how popular we were, and who was the closest one to the brothers. And that just, I don't know, it all didn't sit with me. And as you saw, I separated completely myself, because people just started seeing it all as sort of like a trend. Yeah, a trend. There you go. And in a way, for me, that was also like the devil, kind of like, you know bringing in people for the wrong reasons into the church. I mean, maybe the devil works that way too, right? Like, he brings in people into the church for the wrong reasons, so they're not able to completely be close to the church. In reality, he kind of maybe serves as a filter, right? Or who, maybe not really a filter. I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say. I guess he brings people
no,
into the
I think
church with under
no,
the wrong circumstances.
I think that's a good point that you mentioned. The people that join the group for the wrong circumstances, that's that's the wrong part, because if they feel that they're going to join a group because they want to feel popular, then that's wrong. You get me?
Yeah, I mean,
If
we
you're
all
gonna
want to
be,
belong, but I mean,
yeah, exactly. If you're gonna belong, it's because for who you are, and not because you want to be popular or anything like that. So yeah, I agree on the section about for the wrong parts, why you join something for the wrong parts, and that could be also the devil approaching you for that reason.
right, right. But again, all this still just like the tip of the iceberg, right? Because, right now we've been talking about the devil, but what we know of it, based off on Catholicism and Christianism, right? Like, the devil, has been known in many different cultures. The Greeks had Hades, right, as the god of the underworld, or Pan, right, who later became demonized. Pan's like that sort of goat-looking creature in Greek mythology,
Oh, yeah.
right? The Norse had Hel, which was like that was her name, Hel, Hel, the goddess of death and the underworld. And the Japanese have, I guess per se, the sort of the Shinigami, right? Which are kind of like the gods
Mhm.
of death. But
Yeah.
the devil. Back to kind of what we were talking, right? The devil is closely related to always death. You know, because of the fear of it and the
Right.
unknowingness of what's gonna happen when we all die. Um, but aside from that, Fabio, did you have any other experiences that you wanted to share with us today?
Oh no, actually, I wanted to ask you. Do you have any experiences that you want to share to us?
Oh man. Uh, right now, the only one I can think of, because it's one that I'm never gonna forget. It's probably gonna always stay with me. Because I used to have a lot of really horrible dreams, just similar to you. But since I can remember, I've always, I cannot say with a straight face that I've ever tried to sell my soul to the devil like you did. Um, um,
That was
but
that was long time ago.
it sure was, buddy. Um, but I have always fought the devil um in my dreams. It's always been like that. I've always had uh different dreams where I'm fighting him. Thankfully, through prayer, faith, and literally sheer will, sorry, I've been able to get myself out of it. But the one that kind of always, the experience that stood out with me was probably during when we were in high school. I think it was during time we were probably like sophomore or juniors. Um, but I remember having a dream where pretty much I could feel myself being dragged on like a desert, right? Um, and I know it was a desert because it just looked vast, never ending,
Uh
and
huh.
I could feel getting dragged, and I could feel like the gravel
Yeah.
uh scratching my back as I was being dragged, because it was hurting. And I felt something holding me from one of my legs, and it was just pulling me, right? And it had me by the grip on my leg, and it was just dragging me. And I looked up, and it was the devil, right? It was because I knew him because I was always fighting him.
Yeah.
Um, but he didn't look like horned and monstrous. If anything, he looked very humanoid. He l- uh,
Okay.
he looked he looked very human-ish, not red like we're told, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
he did look very creepy. Just I don't, you know, at this point my memory doesn't serve me well, but I know he did not look like all with horns and everything. He looked definitely evil, demonic. You can feel the strong presence.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember I freaked out, and I just forced myself to I kicked, and I just remember forcing myself to wake up, and I got up, and I was just terrified, dude. And I pulled up my shirt, and I checked my back, and it hurt, dude. I mean, I couldn't see any scratches, but my back hurt so much, Fabio. Like it literally still felt like I had just been dragged through that desert, you know. Again, there was you couldn't see any scratches, but my back was sore, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
it felt like scratches of gravel throughout my back. I could not go back to sleep. It's probably one of the things that I'm thankful that I'm a gamer, that I could just maybe like stay up and keep playing go play a game,
Yeah.
and just play through the night. And I don't remember if I had school next day, but that has been one of my most vivid memories of one of my many fights with the devil, right? And I
And
always told this. What's up?
yeah. No, tell me.
No. Go ahead.
No, and I was gonna say, now that you mentioned about evil, maybe you can do another episode about good, because we had many experiences, especially in high school, while driving, while you drive, where we could actually
Let's not
crash
talk about
big
that.
time. No, but there is also, aside from the fact that there is the evil, there is also good. Maybe.
Yeah, no, and we will talk about we will definitely talk about good.
I can talk of war.
And just like how you said, right? That last part of the movie, right? The exorcism of Emily Rose, right? At the very end, how the Virgin Mary kind of said, "Hey, I can just free you from this, or what do you want to do?" Right? And she decides to instead, sacrifice herself for the better of giving people knowledge, right? That that evil exists. But I think that she only had the strength to do that, dude, honestly, because at this point she was like witnessing the Virgin Mary. So knowing knowing that evil exists, it definitely like solidifies that good exists. Good definitely exists, and good definitely always prevails. And I feel like that's probably the reason why Emily Rose was able to, say 100% I will sacrifice myself, because I know that when I die, I'm gonna go to heaven, because holy shit, that's the Virgin Mary right there in front of me. Like, so having to had that presence, it just justify and solidify that good exists. I mean, that gives you the courage to do anything. If you think about it, if the Virgin right now stood in front of me and told me, I need you to do this, dude, I will do it. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I am gonna do it. That presence, that holiness, that presence in front of you, just being there, I mean, will give you strength to do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Right. So good definitely exists, and it's definitely a topic that we will definitely go through on another episode. But thank you so much, Fabio. I appreciate you taking time. I know you're driving right now to go to Houston to go meet up with your girlfriend, Leslie. And I just hope you're safe right now, man.
Well, there you
and,
got it. There you have it,
and,
guys.
let me know when you get there, okay?
The lore of the devil is a big one, and I have that very present, right? And at this point, we've mostly tackled the Christian and Catholic views of the devil, right? And I made a couple of comments previously with Nora and Fabio regarding how different societies have seen the devil, right? There's been societies that actually have, or cultures that have seen him in history as a positive being, and even today, a lot of Satanist sect. Sorry, that might have sounded like sex, but I'm not meaning sex. Sects see it as a symbol of, I guess, liberalism, right? Being able to choose your own person, what you want to believe in anything in the world, being an independent individual, spiritually, physically, however, right? And it doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing, and they don't sacrifice goats or human beings, etc. That's just part of the whole satanic panic that happened between the 90s and the 70s. But that's just for another podcast episode, anyways. I will be making a part 2 of this episode because, again, this is a topic that you can't just cover in one episode, right? To give the devil his dues. But let us know what we should talk about next. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Make sure you look for us at 8-Bit Couch altogether. 8-Bit Couch. And don't forget to leave us a review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, including ourselves. It would really help us out to go ahead and better ourselves and be a better podcast and be more informative for you and more entertaining for sure. I am very thankful for all of you who are listening, and thank you for taking part of the couch. Have a good night, and this was the 8-Bit Couch. My name is Chris.